Is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231, and we have another 3-game EPL DFS slate with staggered start times. You know, everybody is super pumped about that. Look, let's deal with what we got, right? I know there's a lot of people that are complaining, all that stuff. Guess what? We're still gonna have showdowns. We have classic. It's better than none of that at all. So let's break it down. Quick reminder, if you've been watching this page for a while, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom right. You have no idea how much it helps. Our site's goal is to get to 1,000 as soon as we can. So please jump on board. And we're gonna do a special. If you want to jump into our premium Discord for the day, for free, just send me a picture that you subscribed to my Twitter handle at GatorGuy231. Just screenshot that you've subscribed and I will get you hooked up with a free coupon so you can join up for all the soccer tomorrow. All right, let's jump into the games. First game is Fulham versus Leeds. Leeds is a solid favorite. Second game, we have Man United at home versus Crystal Palace, the biggest favorite on the slate. And finally, we have West Ham versus Arsenal. Arsenal, once again, a solid favorite. So let's start out with the first game. Actually, before I do that, let me just give you like an overall slate then, because I think that's gonna be more important than to break down the games. If you go into this slate going, I'm just gonna try to like grab all the set takers, I think you're donating. We have exactly, I'm trying to think in my head, 1.5 good set takers I want to take. And I'm gonna be in the minority on this because I think a lot of people are gonna immediately go, Willian is just a lock and load. I'm gonna take Bruno Fernandez, who should be 100% owned. Best play on the slate, cover this article. Like, you're playing Bruno with Monopoly set pieces, with him on PKs, with United should be dominating possession versus Crystal Palace, you're playing Bruno. So then it becomes, a lot of people, you know, in the cash type of community are gonna go, oh, I want Willian. He took all the sets for Arsenal, which I think was like 2 or 3. Like, it was like 1 corner and 2 free kicks. But I would argue, and what we kind of saw today on like even the Bayern slate, if you are just shooting for floors, a lot of times you can give up the upside you need. So for Willian and Aubameyang to be almost the same price to me, I'm immediately gonna be all in on Aubameyang over Willian, because here's what I would say. Just take out like the crossing and all that good stuff. Actually, no, leave it in. I should have rehearsed this better in my head. Leave it in, but Aubameyang and Willian are almost similar floors. Like, Aubameyang comes in with a 6 to 8 DK floor, and if we're realistic about how Arsenal sets are, you know, he's probably, Williams might get like, I don't know, 5 to 7 crosses from corners and free kicks, maybe a little bit more, a little bit of open play value, but much less goal odds than Aubameyang. And, you know, what do we know that helped Willian out at Chelsea a ton, which was being on PKs? Well, Aubameyang's on PKs for Arsenal. So to me, I need upside. I think all the floors on this slate are really, really shitty. Like, we're gonna need the goals to cash and to do well. So give me Aubameyang over Willian all day. Honestly, you can make lineups with all 3 of them. I mean, to me, like, if I had to rank the slate out on like, you know, projected points, I'd probably be Bruno 1, Aubameyang 2, Willian 3, and then probably Rashford or Martial 4th. So again, Auba greater than Willian for me. I get the floor, I get potentially a Monopoly set pieces, and you know, I guess I'm just jumping into this early, but are we 100% sure that Willian's going to have everything for Arsenal? Like, if we see, you know, Pepe starting with him, you know, that maybe they put Auba through the middle. I don't think they would do this, okay? I'm just throwing this out there. They put Auba through the middle, they have Willian on the left, Pepe on the right, or they let them interchange. And then you even have like or you have Ceballos in. Are we sure that Willian would take in every single corner over Ceballos and over Pepe? I think he would, but that uncertainty at that price is not okay. So again, I really do think, I feel strongly about this, that Aubameyang over Willian. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. So let's just go back to the starting game, Fulham versus Leeds. Look, I really hope we get some value of some sort. I like Leeds. I think Leeds is actually a very, very contrarian GPP stack here, with everybody looking at Arsenal and looking at Man United. I don't think like the Leeds like strikers, like I don't think like you know, if you're starting Bamford, or maybe if Rodrigo starts, I haven't seen him predicted, but at some point he's going to come on, or, you know, you want to run in Pablo Hernandez, or you just want to stack up the attackers and maybe like Calvin Phillips on sets, I think you're immediately going to be contrarian with Leeds. But I think from like an optimal build, there's a good chance you have none of these Leeds players. Calvin Phillips, to me, like I was hoping maybe he was going to be like 4,500 or 5,000, but he's 6,400. If he's in with Pablo Hernandez, it's kind of like the Willian debate. Well, he might not be splitting with Hernandez, and if I'm paying 6,400 for a central lying midfielder, he better have all the set pieces or I could get smoked. So Calvin Phillips, good player, but I don't know if he fits the slate. Same deal with Pablo Hernandez. If you see both of them, you know, yeah, they're fine for like GPP and stacking them up, but on their own, you know, I don't know how good their floors are. Jack Harrison got priced up. The fullbacks are pricey. Everybody in Leeds is pricey. So I think they're all fine plays, like maybe last man in, but I don't think that any of them are like core plays or I need to build around. Fulham side of things, I think Joe Bryan will be pretty popular. Here's the deal with Fulham. We didn't get a huge sample versus Arsenal, but those sets could go be anywhere. So Bryan could take some. Harrison Reed was taking almost all of them at the end of the season. Tom Kearney's taken. If Knockhart's on, he was pretty much not taking any at the end of the season, but we know he's very capable of taking. Cabano took, like, we have tons of guys that could take them. So to prioritize any of them for their sets is tough. You know, Joe Bryan's going to cost you 4,900, but you know, if Knockhart starts, he's, you know, I think 35. Cabano's 37. Tom Kearney is under 4K, so maybe those are the type of guys. And if you have the room for Bryan, I think Bryan's one of the better fullbacks for DFS in the league. Likes to cross, good tackler. I think solid play, but again, are any of these Fulham guys musts? No. What I will say though is I think you're going to find in a lot of your builds that you need value. I think there's a really good chance one of these Fulham wingers, whoever's on that right wing, whether it's Cabano or Knockhart, you're going to see being fairly popular. And they both have good chances to get to 5 to 7 DK, and if we're at sub 4,000, like, that's just fine. All right, let's go to second game, Man United versus Crystal Palace. So obviously you're playing Bruno everywhere. From there, I think the biggest decision on the slate, and this is my builds compared to maybe some other people, at least how I've found my holders, to be determined if they stay the same for tomorrow, but I think, you know, you're gonna be going like Aubameyang, and then to me, I think that it's worth the discount to go Rashford or Martial over Willian. That might make me contrarian right away, but I think I'd much prefer United pieces that I know are having more goal scoring upside. I just don't know how much goal scoring upside I'm expecting from Willian. There's gonna be so much congestion to Aubameyang, especially with the narrative off of his contract, and Lacazette on that front line. I don't think that like Willian's gonna be taking 2-3 shots. Like, we know that Pepe wasn't exactly all that great from that position last year. So yeah, I think I like Rashford or Martial to kick off the season. Well, I always kind of prefer Rashford. I just think he's a world-class player, and he gets off, you know, it's off that left wing, so it increases his forward. You get a few crosses, more fouls drawn, things like that. Martial, more GPP. So also, you could really make the argument at sub 8K that Mason Greenwood on the right has very, very similar upside to those two and gives you big cost savings. Greenwood's going to be a superstar, so it's just a matter of time. Maybe this is breakout this year. So yeah, I think Mason Greenwood's very fine. Outside of that for United, David De Gea has been terrible. I don't know if you can pay up at keeper. And then the fullbacks, like Wan-Bissaka's so expensive. Like, you take Joe Bryan every day over him, especially with the cost savings. Then Luke Shaw's just terrible for DFS. So is Brandon Williams. So I don't know if I'm wanting those guys, and I probably don't want the central line midfielder. So that's Man United. Crystal Palace, maybe value pieces. Avoid the top guys. If Mitchell is cheap, he would be in play, but he's 4K. So no, thank you. I will take hell. I hate the Arsenal wingbacks, but I would take Bellerin or Maitland-Niles for the price over Mitchell at 4K in that matchup. All right, final game, Arsenal versus West Ham. I've already beat the Aubameyang and the Willian thing as far as I could. I think if you want to pivot off of Willian, you know, pairing with Lacazette makes a lot of sense for GPPs, but that's definitely a GPP move. Wingbacks for Arsenal, they suck. That was about as good of a game script as you could possibly get versus Fulham last week, and they did nothing. So if they're last man in, cool. If not, whatever. Don't feel forced. I think Danny Ceballos is super interesting. My nickname in our Discord is Danny Smooth. I love watching that guy play. I think at his price, even if he doesn't have sets, he's really appealing. especially if he's alongside whether it's El Nini or Xhaka. He would be the guy that gets advanced a little bit more. And just a really, really awesome player. Back to his Betis days, just always has like a nose for like making plays, getting involved. So I'm always a huge Dani Ceballos fan. You know, biggest issues, that's the final game, so you don't know who he's playing with or how much he's playing, that type, or even if he's even starting. So that's kind of Arsenal. I do think, I'll just say this as a whole. If you start two fullbacks, if you start two center backs this week in DFS, I don't think you're dumb. I think that it's super viable. I think Rob Holding at like 2,700 might be one of the most popular players on the slate, which is crazy to say because Rob Holding doesn't do much, but 2,700 center back for a favored side, like, and a back three, and he's not even the central guy. That's Gabriel. He's on the right. So yeah, I think that Rob Holding's super in play. For the West Ham side of things, like, God, guys, like, I mentioned that I was worried about West Ham last week versus Newcastle. Just, they've had all sorts of unrest, and I can't imagine that, like, David Moyes is going to be rallying the troops for a trip to Arsenal. Arsenal's just been like so good the end of last season, knocking off City, knocking off Liverpool in the Community Shield, knocking off Chelsea, like, and looking great and in shape and composed. Like, I don't want any of West Ham. If you want a YOLO dart Antonio, I think that's fine. YOLO dart Bowen, okay. But I think, you know, it's just so hard to pay for them over some of the favorites or even going to Leeds. I'm just gonna, you know, let the great GPP players out there that are gonna leverage ownership do it. I probably will not. And I think that pretty much wraps up the slate. If I missed anything at all, given that I was driving and that now I'm sitting in a parking lot to finish this, drop a comment on the YouTube page. I answer every single one of them to help out any way I can. The only time you probably will not see me answering them is if it is an hour before lock. I'm in Discord answering all of our subscribers' questions, and you can be there too. Once again, DM me at GatorGuy231 with just a screenshot showing that you are subscribed to this YouTube page, and I will get you a free pass. Guys, thank you so much for watching and the continued support, and good luck today.